So I would love to get into just the story of Martin Newton,
Okay.
right? And so our introduction came when you were introduced as the athletic director of
Yeah.
Samford University, which I'm still my athletic director. If at some point 20 years from now, I'm like, nah, my AD Martin Newton. All right. But with that being said, there is exposure that you've been able to witness and experience that I think will be really helpful for our audience to be able to learn and glean from as they raise families, as they lead in their own space. And so, Martin Newton at a young age, tell us about who he was. I know that you have a sports background as well.
Yeah.
So tell us about just your interest in sports and when did that really start?
Yeah, so I was born into the to a coach. My dad was a coach. He was a coach at Transylvania University. I guarantee you, your audience got no clue where Transylvania. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. It ain't got nothing to do with Dracula or any of that kind of stuff. But he was a coach, basketball coach,
Yeah.
and then he got the job in 1968 at the University of Alabama.
Mm.
I'll tell you a quick funny story there. So he gets the job. He's making $15,000 a year at Transylvania as the basketball coach, and he was teaching a class. And he gets a job at Alabama. Bear Bryant offered him the job, and he just assumed he's going to be making more money. So we get to Tuscaloosa, and he sees his contract. He's making $3,000 less.
Oh, hold on.
Making $2,500. He's making $12,500 a year, and he was scared to death of Bear Bryant, so he wasn't going to say anything to Bear Bryant. Hardest conversation he had to have in his life was with my mom, about that he was taking a pay cut to go to Tuscaloosa. But so I grew up with a coach. I mean, in fact, my kids, they all called him Coach. That was his.
Wow.
He
Wow.
wasn't grandpa or granddad. He was
Right.
coach. But
Right.
but I also grew up with somebody that never pushed anything on any of his children. Got two sisters, never pushed any. We were all completely different. I just being the only son, I gravitated towards sports, man. I mean,
Right.
I just loved it. I love it. It didn't matter what it was, whether it was basketball, football, baseball. My best sport was football. I should have been like you and played football.
Yeah.
But,
What position?
I was quarterback and defensive back.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But that was back
Okay.
in the old days where you ran the triple option because that's
Yeah.
what Alabama ran. But
Athlete.
but I just never got pushed towards anything. It was kind of, what do you want to do? And
Right.
so I was really blessed, man. I mean,
Right.
he was a great dad. Took me everywhere. We traveled all over the world, Japan, Guatemala, different places doing basketball clinics and stuff.
Mhm.
So I just grew up with it. Sports is just kind of in my DNA.
Mm. With that type of exposure, I know one of the things we tell the students in a classroom is that save your money and go get a passport.
Yeah.
How did that global exposure shift some of your thinking at a young age?
It just exposes you to things. We all live in. You go to a small school,
Yep.
you're gonna have about five really good friends.
Right.
You go to a big school, you're gonna have about five really good friends. You go
Right.
to a small church, a big. But what it does is it gets you out of that small sphere that you're in, and it lets you see things that you go, wow, I had no idea that this is how other people do things, or this is how people interact, or I mean, different cultures. Being around all the different cultures, I mean, you kind of think, again, you're a product of your environment.
Right.
You get to see how other people do things and realize that, yeah, this ain't the only way to do stuff. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, man. And everybody's got their own value system and their own beliefs, and that's cool. That's all right.
Right. Right.
Respect those.
Yeah.
And so that was the beauty for me, is just being able to be exposed to so many different people and backgrounds and ethnicities. And it just, I think it's really shaped the man I am today.
That's incredible, and I feel like it is consistent with what the world knows about your father, C.M. Newton. Him being very intentional, but also at the same time, we'll just say grounded in the decisions that he was making. Specifically, once he moved to Alabama.
Yeah.